This is the 2005 Men's Health New Balance Breede River Canoe Marathon, which is raced both as the South African and Western Province K2 Championships.
I think you got to have a sort of like a bit of a bond, and you got to have a sort of racing tactic that you guys both abide to. And I think we both agree on the same thing. So I think hopefully we both like winning. So I suppose that's what counts.
Who's the engine?
I'm the engine, he's the brains, but I don't know about lately. We'll see. I think he's more the engine. I'm going to be the guy steering from the back.
It's rained a lot in the Cape, so there's a lot of water around, and the river is flowing strongly.
Training's been going pretty well. Daryl's been overseas competing at the Avon, where he did really well, so his training's going well. He's got the results, and yeah, I've been back home putting in the hours. We got in the boat last week, so then everything clicked again. We used to one another, so hopefully it works out this weekend.
Top competitors in the first seeded batch are lining up for the start.
It's going to be tight racing. I mean, we've got world marathon champions, we've got sprint guys, there's just the works. I mean, so it's going to be a nice tight race.
Michael Mbanjwa and Loveday Zondi seem nervous as they wait for the off. The map and the route of the first day from Robertson to Bonnievale, and some of the trickier spots highlighted for you there, and no doubt the paddlers will know that that's where they have to keep their wits about them. Under starters' orders, and away they go. Paddles flashing wildly as everyone scrambles for the best line through and underneath the McGregor Bridge. The first casualties are Solomon and Moko, nearly spun out by other paddlers behind them. The first obstacle is round the corner, and the leaders here are Len Jenkins and Hank McGregor, Paul Murray and Simon van Geysen, together with Brett and Daryl Bartow. They're paddling in unison and trying to build up a lead on the defending champions Graham Solomon and David Moko, who are working hard to catch up after their mishap just after the start. Michael Arthur and Matt Bowman here, having returned just 2 days ago from the World Sprint Championships in Europe, where they paddled to an excellent 8th place in the K4 1,000 meters. Quite a different race to today's 36. Approaching the low-level bridge, the Bartow brothers have a slight lead over Murray and van Geysen, with Jenkins and McGregor just behind. A quick portage sees all three teams back in the water. Solomon and Moko have caught up, and just behind them are Ryan and Greg Lowe, the upcoming young paddlers from Craddock. Gert van Deventer and Dan Hugo right there with them too. Van Deventer has represented South Africa at the World Marathon Championships, and Dan is a world-class junior triathlon champion. Arthur and Bowman seem to be feeling the effects of the distance now. Remember, they trained to sprint for 1,000 meters.
It's a wide open race. The river level's dropped a little bit. The rapids are always going to be tricky with the low-level bridges, the portages. It's going to be a very interesting day, wide open, I think. So it's going to be fast racing.
At this point, 4 boats are working well together in the lead bunch, with Solomon and Moko having recovered to catch up the leaders.
The field is strong. I mean, we are defending champions. We won the South African title last year. Len and I decided to do this race a couple of days ago, and hopefully we don't break our cable like we did last year, and that's how we lost the lead. And if everything goes well, hopefully we'll win it.
Arthur and Bowman are paddling hard to try and catch the front 4.
Today's really just a get through day. Tomorrow's the important day.
Coming up to the last vantage point, some 15 minutes from the finish, the leaders Murray and van Geysen, the Bartows, Solomon and Moko, Jenkins and McGregor, and Arthur and Bowman. Easy does it through underneath the low water bridge and then flat out to the finish. first mixed crew of Graham Tweet third and Jeanette Walder are very well placed at this stage. They ended 40th on day one. The top women's crew of Alexa Lombard and Dania Kamstra got underneath the bridge safely. They competing in Perth, Australia at the World Marathon Champs during October, together with many of the top crews who use the Breede as perfect training for the championships. The timekeepers and finish officials set up and are ready. The Barto brothers just too quick for Marianne van Geysen at the finish, and Jenkins and McGregor come through in the third place. Alexa and Dania are the leading women's team and they take 44th place overall. Abby Medema and Michelle Array are second women home. A beautiful view over the Breede River Valley outside Bonnievale sees the end of day one of the Men's Health New Balance SAK2 Championships. And the results for the day. Day two at Drew Bridge outside Bonnievale, and paddlers are greeted by grey, drizzly conditions. Quite a change from yesterday's warm spring weather. The course takes the paddlers through the Waterfall Rapid, a very tricky drop of a metre or so, with very fast flowing water being forced between two rocky outcrops, then past the Iron Bridge, the big PPC weir, and onto the finish in the Bontebok Park outside Swellendam.
We're going to work together with the Barthos, but we've got a 35-second lead on Hank and Len, and I think the rest of the field's probably 2 or 3 minutes behind. So, yeah, it worked out exactly as planned. But now we're going to start focusing on getting to the finish in a good position.
I'm sure Jenkins and McGregor will be back. I don't count them out, but yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes.
A tricky entrance to the start with the top half hour of finishers from day one start any lapse time in positions they finished in the day before. The Barto brothers look very relaxed as they drift down to the start.
Our game plan is Hank and Len are very strong, so if we can get into those channels with the Cape guys without Hank and Len being too close to us, then hopefully we can put a bit of distance there and yeah, hope for the best in the end sprint. We are both quite fast and come from sprinting background, so hopefully it works out for us today.
Solomon and Mocker got last-minute instructions from one of the ever hard-working officials. Michael Mbanja and Loveday Zondi make their way to the put-in as yesterday's winners start day two. The Bartos, followed by Marianne van Geysen, take off in the swift-flowing water and want to put as much distance as possible between themselves and Len and Hank.
A bit of a hole in our boat yesterday, which sort of set us back a bit. We had to stop and empty the boat. We lost quite a bit of time, and then we managed to close the gap just before the finish.
Hopefully today we catch up the rest of the time we lost and get back onto the front bunch quickly.
They sprint away and you can see the purpose in those very long, severe strokes. The women's race for the SAK2 medals is quite evenly contested, and a slip-up amongst the first three boats can see anyone get through. Lombard and Kamstra got through safely and power away. The water and safety marshals try to show the way as the mishaps start in the rough water of Waterfall Rapid. Is my canoe around here somewhere, please? Kim Brugman and Taryn Brown approach the rapid confidently. But they've fallen over, and this mistake saw them drop out of medal contention. The fifth-placed women's crew, Carol Joyce and Claire Langenhoven, misjudged the crosswash too, and they take a swim as well. Signage reigns as more and more crews take a Ryk Neetlim. Kim makes it to the side safely, and she and Taryn hustle to get the canoe emptied out so that they can get after the leaders. They also want to get away from Carol and Claire, and there's luckily a gallant hand from one of the chaps. The next big challenge just below the gridiron bridge. The whitewater safety crew from Gravity Whitewater ready, and so is cameraman Maton van Sail in the ducky. Paul Murray and Simon van Geysen take it easy over the last big drop. Followed by Len Jenkins and Hank McGregor. But now the race will certainly be on. Darryl and Brett Bartow go through in third place. Van Deventer and Dan Hugo slide over the weir quite easily. The Low brothers and Ernst van Riet with PW Basson also make it through okay. Tweet and Jeanette get away safely, but other crews are just not so lucky. And to lift a K2 full of water is not exactly the easiest exercise in the whole world. The winners approach the finish line. KwaZulu-Natal's Len Jenkins and Hank McGregor successfully defend their SA K2 title, and now Hank will set his sights on winning his second K1 World Marathon title in Perth, Australia, and Len will want to win the SA K1 title for the third time on the Fish River in October. Paul Murray and Simon van Geysen from the Western Province take the silver. While Alexa Lombard and Donia Kamster stamp their authority on the women's race and power up to the finish way ahead of the second-placed women.
We didn't really know where we were going. Len was sort of a bit cautious, so we just sat with the Western Cape guys and came to about the last 10 minutes. We just dropped the hammer and we broke away. So it was pretty faultless day. It was a nice, easy paddle.
Thank goodness all the rain came down and made the river come up a lot. It takes the winning time down considerably and makes it easier for us to get to the finish quicker. So it was a great day.
Indeed it was for Len Jenkins and Hank McGregor, who enjoyed almost a minute's worth of lead over Murray and van Geysen, and the Bartow brothers taking the bronze medals. And in the women's race, it was Lombard and Kamstra over Medima and Array with a margin of 4 minutes.